Glad to have you join us once more on Housing Development, your authoritative source of housing information. My name is Namso Thelma. Today is June 12th, Democracy Day, and we wish all Nigerians a happy Democracy Day. We also want to welcome all members of the 9th National Assembly, even as we implore you all to put housing first on your agenda for the next 4 years. We want to use this opportunity to invite you all for the 13th Abuja International Housing Show, coming up on the 23rd to 26th of July 2019. Now on the program today, we will look at housing development in Nigeria from the return of democracy in 1999 till date. We will also look at the issue of land titling as one of the solutions to housing crisis in Nigeria. And we also had people on the street tell us how much they could afford for a plot of land. And on the Abuja International Housing Show, we have information you need to know. Let's begin with trending headlines in housing and construction.
Akwa Ibom House of Assembly has passed the bill to establish Urban and Regional Planning Board and Area Planning Authorities. The bill, which had earlier passed through first, second reading and committee stage, was read a third time through a motion by Otobong Akbang, PDP Ukanafon, and seconded by Uduak Udo Ikot Abasi, Eastern Obolo. Meanwhile, the bill, when assented to by the governor, would provide sustainable modalities for physical planning, development and control of urban and rural space in the state. Over 400 exhibitors and 2,000 participants have indicated interest to attend this year's Abuja International Housing Show, says the organizer. The organizing firm Fesadep Communications Limited said expectations for this year's edition are very high, as local and international exhibitors had confirmed attendance and readiness to showcase their latest products and innovations to their clients and buyers. According to the firm, the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is expected to declare the show open as an international event where participants will cut across at least 15 countries, including the United States, United Kingdom, United Arab Emirates, South Africa, Kenya, China, among others, and there will be a high-level delegation of international diplomats, foreign ministers of works and housing, including Ghana's Samuel Atta Akia. Away from that, the Federal Capital Development Authority (FCDA) has announced their decision to demolish structures on waterways, especially at affected areas in Lokogoma district, with view to bringing a permanent solution to the perennial flooding in the area. Recall that apart from a 17-year-old boy who lost his life during the torrential rain last week, no fewer than 3 persons, including a father, son and daughter, were lost to the flood in 2017. Addressing newsmen after a tour of the affected areas in Abuja, the Director, Department of Engineering Services (FCDA), Ahmed Shehu Hadi, lamented that the crisis in the area was a recurring issue and the authority have decided to find a lasting solution to it. He, however, expressed the sympathy of the FCT administration to the family of the 17-year-old boy who lost his life to the incident.
Good to have you back. That was Housing News Updates with Chinelo Uzawuru. For more, do well to visit www.housingnews.org.ng. Remember to also download the Housing News app on Google Play Store. Housing is still a major challenge in Nigeria, especially with a deficit of about 17 to 20 million. Now, over the years, there have been various interventions by the Nigerian government to address the issue of housing shortage. The question is, how well has democracy improved the housing sector? The next report takes a look at housing development in Nigeria from 1999 to date. Let's have a look.
Nigeria is perhaps the fastest urbanizing country in the African continent. One of the most important challenges facing the country is the provision of affordable housing. This report will take a look at housing development in Nigeria from the democratic dispensation 1999 till date. The Obasanjo government was marked by the establishment of the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and a proposal of the multiple housing reforms, including the restructuring of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. These policies also became an offshoot of professional bodies like Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAN, and Building Materials Producers Association of Nigeria, BUMPAN. During this period, the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development was established from the then Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. The period between 2000 to 2004 policy focus was on the private sector to serve as the main catalyst for housing delivery in Nigeria, while the government concentrates on the provision of basic infrastructures on the new housing and development. Issues in the Land Use Act were equally given attention for review, as well as the financial structures such as the FMBN and provision of incentives to developers in form of tax holidays for 5 years. The Nigerian National Housing Policy in 2006 was as a result of the inability of earlier policies and programs to adequately resolve the backlog of housing problems in the country. This policy came up with some transitionary strategies in which government made significant effort in partial disengagement into housing provision and encouraged privately developed housing. Under the policy adjustment, such as the amortization period, which was 25 years under the previous policy, was jacked up to 30 years. Interest on NHF loans to PMIs were scaled down from 5% to 4%, while the lending rate to contributors is reduced to 6% from previous 9%. In 2007 to 2010, during Umaru Musa Yar'Adua's administration, while there were no grandiose ambitions about housing, one of the points in his famous 7-point agenda was land reforms. While hundreds of billions of dollars have been lost through unused government-owned land assets, changes in the land laws and the emergence of land reforms is supposed to optimize Nigeria's growth through the release of land for mass housing, commercialized farming, and other large-scale businesses by the private sector. The final result is supposed to assure improvements and boosts to the production and wealth creation initiatives. Unfortunately, he didn't live long enough to see this through. On 18th April 2009, when the National Technical Working Committee under the Housing Thematic Area of the Vision 2020 was inaugurated, they were asked to make recommendations towards contributing of housing to Vision 2020 goal of the federal government. Part of the vision was to make the housing sector one of the top 3 contributors to the nation's economy by adding 10 million decent affordable homes to the national housing stock by the year 2020. It was suggested that for Nigeria to meet up with its housing needs by the year 2020, the federal government must provide the legal and regulatory environment that would attract public-private partnership (PPP). In 2012, Goodluck Jonathan announced that the federal government was committed to revolutionizing the housing sector by translating the National Housing Policy and National Urban Development Policy into a roadmap for housing development in the country. In line with this, NMRC was established for mortgage refinancing with the support of World Bank. The Buhari-led administration introduced new initiatives to tackle housing delivery, like the Family Homes Funds and National Housing Program, with construction ongoing in about 34 states, the Federal Integrated Staff Housing (FISH) in 2016, and My Own Home Scheme in 2017. In all of this development, it is, however, important to note that the government also needs to focus on other components of large-scale housing development like land, finance, infrastructure, building materials, and labor in order to completely achieve delivery of affordable housing in Nigeria.
That's a report on the dividends of democracy in the area of housing. To speak to us further on this is Honorable Bala Kaoje, a member of Board of Trustees of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria. Take a listen.
Basically, one would say that the major housing delivery outfit in the country that has been on ground for many years ago is the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Before now, the speed with which the organization delivered houses was far below expectation, which led to advising the Minister of Housing Power to change the structure of the Federal Mortgage Bank when Buhari-led administration came in 2015. Their structure of housing delivery is one of the best we have. My reason, of course, is that, you see, they target directly the low-income earners, who are very large in numbers. Before now, it's quite difficult to get low-income earners in large numbers, particularly outside the federal capital. If you go to the states, you finally had low-income earners who can afford even the 6 million to 15 million loans that are given to people to afford their own houses, you know. But with the family home strategy, whereby they have houses that are 2.5 million threshold, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 6 million, to a maximum of 7 million. The technology, you know, the design and the technology that is being utilized by family homes, they will be able to provide, I believe, you know, across the country, over 2 million homes in a year. And if they are providing 2 million homes in a year, it means they can be able to employ more than 6 million of our youth. And that's a good help coming from the government. Transition from one democratic government to another is helping us a lot. And I also do believe that there are many opportunities there out, you know, with some of these, let's say IMF, the World Bank. There are many opportunities where money can come into Nigeria for housing development at a very low interest rate, which is not being utilized by government. And I like to use this opportunity to urge the government of President Muhammadu Buhari to exploit these areas. There are many of them, and that will help us to cover the gap of the deficit that we have. That's why I am happy with the family home strategy. It's a very important strategy. I'm happy with it, and I know that it will get this country out of the woods if properly supported.
Glad to know you're still with us. That was Honorable Bala Kaoje, a member of Board of Trustees of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, on the impact of democracy in housing. Now, the fact still remains that the issue of land is a major problem being faced by those who want to own a home. The issue of land titling and the land use decree has become a subject of discussion among stakeholders. Let's take a look at this.
Land is essential for every human activity on earth, as it is the source of all material wealth. One of the few questions people ask when they want to buy land is the title on the land. Some insist on buying a land with C of O even though they don't have money for it. A land in Nigeria will have one of the following titles: Global Acquisition, Excision, Gazette, C of O, Governor's Consent. In Nigeria, the cumbersome property registration processes are major barriers to housing development and home ownership, leading to country's huge housing deficit. Land registration in Nigeria now requires about 77 days to complete registration, going through 13 procedures with an average of 10% property value as charges. In other countries with a democratic system of government, it takes 22 days, 4% and 5 procedures. Also, 58 days, 8% and 6 procedures in other sub-Saharan African countries. According to the recent report, a huge percent of land in Nigeria do not have registered titles. Speaking with Housing Development on the issue, estate surveyor and valuer Roland Abonta says land titling is an area that is of major challenge to housing. He suggests it should be a top agenda for this present administration to make for easy access to land.
The other area that is of major challenge to housing is the issue of land titling. Even when you make these mortgages accessible and available, most people who own lands in cities and villages cannot access the mortgage because they don't have title to their lands. And so that's why I'm also recommending that this should be a top agenda to ensure that the Presidential Committee on Land Reforms that have started a project they call systematic titling. It will be a good thing that all pieces and parcels of land in Nigeria have title. The fact that every piece of land in Nigeria has an owner, such owner should also have a title to that small portion of land.
As a way to achieve affordable housing, another expert in housing, estate surveyor and valuer Geoffrey Tabansi, says the federal, state and local government have to make land available to developers.
Federal government or even the state government and local government have to come in by making land, service land available for development of affordable houses.
It is believed that the revision of the cumbersome property registration process, acquiring land title documents and transfer will bring the needed improvement and growth to both the housing and mortgage industry in the country.
One of the most prominent features of your house is your roof. Your roof will tell how old your building is. At Plus World, we pride ourselves in having the expertise and products to bring your roof back to life. While other roofing companies suggest removing the roof, we restore the roof with warranty assurance. Let Plus World Roofing recoat your old and fading roofs and make your roofs brand new. Our products are eco-friendly and completely harmless to human and the environment. We offer services that will sustain your roof's integrity and by extension, your property value. This includes roof repairs and maintenance for residential, commercial, and industrial properties. Our roof restoration solution saves you up to 70% the cost of replacing your roof. Contact Plus World Roofing today. Plus World Roofing. Why re-roof when you can restore?
The issue of land, we must make it known clearly that if the cost of land is low, the access to housing would not have been a serious barrier. Let's go to the streets of Abuja and ask some of the low-income earners how much they can afford to buy a land, assuming they want to.
With my income, I can afford 500, 1 million, 1.5, 2 million.
The 2 million is the highest?
Not that it is the highest, but you know, I cut down my cost. I won't overspend like as if I earn more than that. Well, the fact is that is what I can afford.
It depends on what the project is. So, but roughly one could look at ₦1 million and above, depending on my kind of location. So I think my kind of location should be like ₦1 million and above for a plot of land.
It depends on the choice of the area. I think for me, to buy a plot of land, I can buy a plot of land at 750. 750 is okay for a plot of land. You do something according to a level.
Land in Abuja is very expensive. It's not easy something like that. But how I wish, if it is, I will have it my own way. Let's say at least, if I have like 700,000, if I can get the land of that amount, let's say 5, 6, 7, anything less than $1 million, at least, that would be better.
For this next level, to me, let's say if I see a better place, 300,000. For now, 300,000. Beautiful at least 300,000. Nothing more, nothing less. Chicken now. How you go?
If the government want to do well for us, as we are a less privileged person, so we can afford the level where we're talking about 500,000, 1 million, honestly we can afford. That's what we are saying. But when we're talking about outskirts of the town, where they sell land of 250, 300,000. Understand? So we also afford it and we build out there.
Urban Shelter Limited has to its advantage an immense reserve of resources and experience which give it the ability to effectively plan, develop and manage properties for individuals, private organizations, state and federal government establishments while strategically positioning the company to consolidate its activities across Nigeria, Dubai and the entire West African sub-region. For more than 20 years, we have helped Nigerians rediscover the dream of home ownership, the aspiration of turning a house into a home. We've built houses so our clients can transform them to welcoming homes and safe havens in a secure location. We are proud to say for many Nigerians, Urban Shelter has turned that dream of owning a home into a reality.
My name is Munia Tagma. I encourage you to watch Housing Development.
You're welcome back. You're still on to Housing Development. Have you registered for the Abuja International Housing Show? Are you a building materials manufacturer? Are you into real estate? Are you working with a government agency in charge of housing delivery in your state? Or are you into cooperative? This year's Abuja International Housing Show is a must-attend for you. With the available information at my command, it is a program you will not regret attending. It is the largest stakeholder housing event in Africa.
Are you a member of a cooperative and you've been trying to have home ownership? This is good news for you and all cooperative societies. The 13th Abuja International Housing Show will focus on alternative funding for finance home ownership for cooperative societies. It is a place you must all be for synergy and construction finance. We are set to unlock the difficulties you've been facing in actualizing housing dreams for your members in any part of the country. Mark your calendar and plan to return from 23rd to 26th of July 2019 at ICC Abuja. You can't miss out on this one. For more, you can visit www.ihs2019.org or call 0816-657-0090, 0816-657-0090.
Welcome back. Still on Abuja International Housing Show. Are you a chief executive? There is an exclusive forum for you at this year's Abuja International Housing Show. The forum is designed for top-level executives, CEOs, CFOs, COOs, presidents, business owners of small to large-size organizations involved in the E2E real estate value chain. It is a one-day event that will provide an environment where industry leaders can share their experience and concerns in a setting of openness and trust. As a chief executive of a real estate organization, mortgage bank, construction company, interior decor company, if you have not registered, it is time for you to do so now and plan to attend. Go register now at www.ihs2019.org.
Have you been working for a really long time and it's been difficult fulfilling your dream of home ownership? What are those factors militating against you owning a home? You can do away with all of those. Let's meet at the 13th Abuja International Housing Show on the 22nd to 26th of July 2019. Mark the date in your calendar and break those barriers. The show will have over 200 real estate developers across different parts of the country who will be exhibiting different categories of housing projects to your benefit. You don't want to miss out on this one. For more, you can visit www.ihs2019.org.
For want of time, that's where we wrap up the show today. You can go follow our social media pages on Twitter and on Facebook at Housing Program. Feel free to like our posts and drop your feedbacks and comments. Now, if you are in need of a credible developer to turn your dream of home ownership into reality, then Urban Shelter, which is one of Nigeria's real estate developers, is the right place to go. For more, you can call the numbers on your screen. Remember to plan to be a part of the 13th Abuja International Housing Show. Once again, we wish all Nigerians a happy Democracy Day. My name is Nomso Thelma. I'll see you soon.